Norfolk has gone to court again. This is going to be problematic. Unfortunately, Norfolk has turned the slander into action by the Sultan. We've lost influence. Now the Sultan has grown suspicious of us. He's demanding that we present a skilled warrior to fight to entertain him. We have 5 turns to present them. Currently, all of our best warriors are dealing with Thorn Tower. Minar has also come to us again. Milan is backing us in the court today. We really rather need to get our people back to work. Shit. We also need to deal with the military operations. In the fleeting moment of crossing through time, you seem to glimpse 2 twisted shadows watching you. Gained +1 insight. I've just used the game's ability to return to the start of your last turn. I've not used it thus far, and I try to use it as little as possible. But it is an inbuilt option in the game. Even the Mirage isn't particularly good at making money, and the grand game goes against us no matter what, perhaps it's best that we send him to finish this situation. Sultan requested the generals to plan a military operation without any real strategic significance, more to satisfy his momentary desire for conquest. But the staff submitting to the marching plan hesitantly tell you that the dry season is coming, and the route will be very unfavorable for military supply, not only causing many additional expenses, but also additional casualties, human lives. It feels great to say no to the Sultan. Well, you don't directly say no, you just skillfully delay the troop in a supply assembly line, link by link, till eventually it is delayed to some other time. Helpless as the Sultan may be about this, he still cannot abide listening to those generals praise you. I've gained a renown, I've gained the approval of the army. The Sultan won't be happy about this. Your deeds gain Trufet's favor, pray, and miracles may arrive. I've become influential enough that I can use my faith in the Immaculate Purity to reset the countdown on a Sultan's card. But I can only do this 3 times ever. If I put the Bloodshed card into Methinks, it gives me the ability to attempt to sacrifice one of my own people. However, if I leave this unfulfilled, then since it's a low tier Bloodshed card, I should get a new opportunity next turn. The maid has given you a lead. You begin your investigation. First, you must trace the path the tax collector's wife and child took on their journey home. Where did they go? Where did they vanish? You decide to send your people to walk the same road to conduct a field investigation. The mirror unfolds the map, hoping to find clues to the lady's whereabouts. Through a relentless investigation, the mirror discovers records of the tax collector's wife and children passing through a way station. The station is very close to her parents' city. After that, they vanish. It seems she left the city safely. If the tax collector had murdered her, he would have done it earlier, before she was so far out of the city. Mission accomplished. Hearing that you intervened in the case comes looking for you. Why are you against me? You want to overturn the conviction of such a heinous person, defending his well-documented evil deeds? I totally misjudged you, you enemy of justice. Only then do you realize that he's handling this case. You tell him that you just want to find the truth, but he doesn't believe you. Stop making excuses. You just want money and fame, right? You also want to prove I'm wrong just because I don't agree with you joining Sultan's game. Case finishes speaking and leaves in a fury. Thus, you part on bad terms. From afar, you see this green, broken tower. Is that a mirage or a real landmark? Break the vision of the mirage. Maggie calculated cloud heights and mirage distances with instruments. Finally, she pointed towards an almost opposite direction. The clouds had been reflecting the tower's image from there. With anxious hearts, you tracked through desert sands until the tower materialized beyond distant dunes. It, along with those impossible desert blooms and fruits, truly existed. Maggie became a little better at survival. We have 2 rerolls available to us, so perhaps it's a wise choice to use one on this failure. Or both. There we go. The tower stands wrapped in dense vines. Their water source and nourishment remain a complete mystery. Beyond the ruins, countless thorns form towering barriers. Blue luminescent flowers command these brambles through visible rhythmic pulses. Holding your breath, carefully avoiding the barbs, you delicately pluck that azure rose. Under its ethereal glow, the thorns parted reverently, even displaying submission. You couldn't help wondering what secrets and power lay within this tower. I've become a little more stealthy. Whatever once stood here has been claimed by time's passage. Rich magical energies drift through empty rubble. This was once a gateway linking our world to distant realms. Mihir sifted through the debris, methodically reconstructing the shattered archway, then sealed the final bindings with her own hair and blood. All scattered enchantments reconvened. Though lasting mere moments, the mysterious realm concealed within the tower opened its doors to you. He's become a little wiser. The ring from the princess's hand. Oh. This is a garden alive with blossoms. An elegantly attired, noble lady tends her botanical charges. She might be a spectre, some mighty otherworldly entity, perhaps a legendary sorceress. Nevertheless, Zaki summoned courage to approach, expressing goodwill and admiring this magnificent garden. Zaki's refined manners and eloquent words clearly delighted this lady. She slipped a ring from her finger, placing it in Zaki's palm. Through this artifact, you can cultivate your own garden within the mortal realm. To become a little more charismatic, we've received the Thornbind ring, and we've lost the book that gave us access to this place. This is a bloodshed card of low tier. In fact, there is no need to focus on your own people. There may be a place in this city where you can kill without any burden, but it is a bit risky. You heard an insignificant rumor about a slave breaking free during a market transaction, killing his master and burning half the street. The Thornbind ring is a sponsored item. Gift, contract, and seed rolled into one. Magic scholars call such triple-natured things curses. It's quite a good ring, giving benefits to many stats. Oh. The Sultan has changed his demand to wanting money instead. Very well. I'll pay. I think I would have preferred to fight, but we can afford to pay this. The lady must have returned to her hometown after leaving the way station. That much is certain. Why has no one seen her? You decide to take your investigation to the city. No one admits to seeing the lady. Some even flee your questions like startled prey. You notice the flickering of glances. They're hiding something. That's why we sent the reroll. Finally, Zaki pries information out of an urchin. Squatting indifferently in the corner, the urchin says, I saw the lady come back, yeah. Little boy, little one, about yay high, right? Lives up in the governor's mansion, she does. Even heard him at it at night, arguing loud. Next thing I know, the governor says no one to breathe a word of it. See, most folk around here can't so much as lift a finger without his say-so. Everyone's dependent on him for their bread. But me, I got nothing to lose. Ain't had a proper bite in days. He shrugs and asks you, You're from the big city, ain't ya? Did you boot him out, maybe? Governor's right harsh. Folk around here barely better off than me, farming just to go hungry. So he buys him some buns in appreciation. Seems a new suspect has emerged in this case. Mission accomplished. Case heard about your progress and came once again. After understanding the doubts in detail, he frowned tightly. If there are really hidden truths in this matter, I will assist you in the investigation. My eyes will also be fixed on you, so don't try any dirty tricks. It seems he's hostile towards you, but it hasn't blinded him. As you know, he is also someone who seeks justice. The Sultan heard that you've prepared a fortune for the test of the extravagance card, so he tells you now is the time to show your loyalty. He saw you present a full tray of gold to the Sultan without changing your expression. He speculated about your true wealth with jealousy and fear. Going forward, they'll treat you with more respect. Gained a little influence, and the Sultan has been sated for now. You've also gained more influence as the Sultan leaves court for some time. Here there are no innocents, no mercy or blame. You can complete the Sultan's killing game and everyone will cheer. Blades unsheathed, cheers roar, blood will spill soon. Break the Sultan's card in a pool of blood. At least this time it wasn't you who died. become a little better at combat, and this bloodshed card has been broken. Tiring day is about to end as you walk through the shadows of the Sultan's palace walls, ready to return home. A woman in white blocks your way. We've met this mysterious stranger before. We hope that Lumera can be more helpful. The next day, Lumera comes to your house, telling you she had a strange dream. The details are unclear, but it was a pleasant, auspicious dream, and it was about you. Lumera has become a little better at combat and survival. Lumera also wants our attention, but first, we'll draw a bronze carnality. Simple enough. Maggie's more than capable of satisfying that card with us. The case has started to accompany us on the investigation, but we apparently need a conquest card to be able to interrupt. Lumera bows to you and tells you she wants to learn the ancient language of the Empire, which is the language of her homeland. This language doesn't differ much from the common language, but many terms are different, especially those related to faith. I think the past is not important. What matters is that I use this life to do something I want to do. The ultimate goal of life is to achieve happiness, which is what you've taught me. I have thought about it, and my happiness lies in learning more knowledge. Please send me to learn the ancient language. I will repay your benevolence doubly. She says this while groveling, and you contemplate the answer. Sending her to learn the ancient language requires some money. She is very smart, so it might be worth it. Sure! The mayor has a thirst for knowledge, and you can satisfy it. Why not? The Sultan had a strange dream that left him unsettled. He asked you to interpret the dream for him. In the dream, the Sultan saw a beautiful woman standing on the edge of a cliff. As he approached her, she began to slowly jump off the cliff, and he ran to see her shattered body below. Then he suddenly saw the woman standing next to him again, jumping off the cliff and shattering once more, seen repeated countless times until he finally awoke. I can claim this is a good omen, I can claim it's a bad omen, or I can claim he's been working too hard for the country. I have enough immunity from him that I don't feel like I need to completely suck up to him. Let's say it's a bad omen. You cautiously asked how many women were in the dream, wondering if the Sultan still remembered. The palace fell silent, as everyone knew the defeated Sultan of Hukakasis had 9 beautiful daughters, who committed suicide together after their country was destroyed. Before the Sultan could get angry, he hurriedly grabbed the priest and performed a series of exorcism rituals. After the rituals were completed, the Sultan was finally satisfied and rewarded you with some gold. You just hope he doesn't have that dream again tonight. You wiped the sweat from your forehead, warning yourself to keep your mouth shut next time. There's a document, perhaps well-intentioned, perhaps a trap. It contains ancient origins of your family, most of which can no longer be verified. But, if it's true, it suggests you might have some royal lineage. Would you encourage the clerks to formally incorporate this record into the royal archives? Harshly condemn this sycophantic foolishness in your approval text. Foreign merchant Barat has rented a vacant shop under your name to conduct some small business here. We successfully collected our rent. We outshine him in the art of bluffing. The foreign merchant took the gold coin, weighed it in his hand, then returned it to you, saying he saw nothing wrong with it. Why did you weigh it? You asked. Were you trying to see whether it felt lighter than an ordinary coin? Not at all, the foreign merchant said with a hearty laugh. I simply cherish every coin equally. Yet his hand trembled ever so slightly, something your eyes did not miss. You decided to have a proper talk with him. The foreign merchant's expression seemed a little off as he handed you the coins. Was it the gold coins? Careful as ever, you notice one looks a little different. Is it only a trick of the eye? We've gained another false gold coin. This foreign merchant, your tenant, seems suspicious. A touch of skill may be required to loosen his tongue. Intended to draw the truth from Barat. Oh. Okay. No matter the threats Aki hurls, the merchant remains unmoved. Clearly he harbors secrets. Any ordinary man would have been trembling long ago. Drew fellow, some persuasion will be needed. Give him some force. Mihir seizes Barat by the throat. Speak of the counterfeit coins or cease to breathe. At last, gasping, Barat nods, agreeing to speak before suffocating. You take Zaki to the bookshop. Every riddle has its answer, you tell him. History and books hold them all. The bookstore owner is always welcoming of new customers like him. They enjoy a lively chat, and old customers passing by give the young men recommendations for their own reading. What a pleasant afternoon. He's gained 2 wisdom and 2 charisma. Minar's talents have caught the Sultan's attention. She petitions him for permission to explore beyond the great sea of sand, to seek a legendary stronghold hidden in desert peaks, a journey of great peril. This time she does not come to you for aid. Minar doesn't expect you would come. She looks very downcast, no longer showing the excitement like her first adventure. She tells you that her dream was to explore the world and record it faithfully on her map. That corrected parchment where the location of the oasis you found has been burned into a scorched hole. Minar shakes her head sadly, saying she never thought she would only bring disaster to them. With a forced smile, she says, "Really, I never thought of coming back. You can. Perhaps this is fate." You wanted to comfort her, tell her it's not her fault. But what can you say? No matter what thoughts weigh on the explorer's mind, the shadow of death already sways in the wild wind and sand. You trudge through the choking haze of sand and smoke in silent determination. The Deathlands do not claim you. The mountains rise, red as dried blood. A valley, long and narrow, cut through the land like a scar left by a god's blade. And at its end, a city. The streets teem with traders, orderly, prosperous. A place of wealth and lore. You wander through its markets, dazzled, unable to resist a few exotic indulgences. As you leave, Minar lingers, murmuring to the valley's jagged walls. Easily defensible, isn't it? Then, shaking her head with a rueful smile, she turns to you. No matter. Thank you. We've gained a renown, we've learned of a prosperous city, and Farage has become stronger and better at survival.